Hey, Lorraine Lewis here from Vixen and Femme Fatale, and you're watching the Krash Kourse Metal Show. Yeah.
What is going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome back to another episode of a Krash Kourse album review. Today we're going to be doing the brand new album from the Sunset Greats, Underground Greats, and that is Vain and their new album, Disintegrate Together. So as most people know, if you do know Vain at all, most people do only know their debut album, No Respect, and rightfully so, because it is an amazing album of the 80s, early 90s, and such a classic, all-time great album of the hair metal, sleaze metal, glam metal genre. But also, this is actually the brand new album here, Disintegrate Together, is actually their 8th studio album. So from what most people see or saw them as a one album band, they actually had plenty of albums throughout the whole since they've been together, and it's crazy to see. But the stuff is hard to find, I will say, as far as even like No Respect is hard to find, but like everything else is way more harder. Because like I said, I had No Respect when I was in high school. I had the CD, and then I ended up later finding the vinyl, that what you see behind me there. But since high school, so like 15 plus years now, since I known Vain, I have only ever seen that debut album without going on the eBay or, buying from Vain himself, Davy Vain himself. So, and that's what leads me to say is I also, when I picked up the brand new album on their website, they had a couple of the other modern ones as well. Enough Rope, and Rolling with the Punches. And then also the second album followed up No Respect is All Those Strangers. And I also previously had though Davy Vain's solo album and On the Line as well, which is really good. But today we are here to talk about Disintegrate Together, and this is, like I said, the 8th studio album for Vain. It has pretty much a lot of the original guys on it, which is very special when you're talking about an 80s band, hair metal band, that you have most of the original people. So you do have Davy Vain, you have Ashley Mitchell, you have Nova Scott on the guitars, and you have Tommy Rickard on drums. And then you also have Joel Proto on here, but he is the newest, or he's like the new member from 2016 to now. And then the previous album is Rolling with the Punches, which I just shown. That was from 2017, so we did wait about 7 years for this new album, and I guess that's pretty much all the lead up that I really have for this album, and we can go into some of the track listings here. So you start off here with Cold Like Snow, which is the single. Basically, I believe this is actually I think the only song that anyone can hear like on YouTube or that is released digitally and such, because from what I heard through like the Vain groups and such, that this album is not released on digital yet, so like no one can buy it digitally, and it's also not on Spotify. Just the intro track, "Cold Like Snow," the single. That's the only one that you could listen to online or download digitally, which is kind of weird. Like in this time, I mean, I guess I kind of get it without, like, because I don't know what the reason behind that is or anything like that, but good song though nonetheless. Cold Like Snow. But I do remember like a month or two ago on Hair Nation, I did see Eddie Trunk have Davy Vain on and promoting the new single off of this, Cold Like Snow. But that's real cool to see that Eddie and Hair Nation is actually like showing some love other than to Tesla, Warrant, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue and shit. So it's good to see like the bands that actually were like way better than they got credit for, or album sales wise is getting some love on Hair Nation, which is a big plus in my book. So yeah, we got Cold Like Snow to open it up. Classic Vain sounding song, fast paced. Now that's the other thing too, which I'm going to be saying throughout this whole review probably, is that every which one of these releases here from Vain sounds like Vain. And that is the charm of Vain, I believe, especially like looking back retrospective now. It's like nothing that they put out. Now they do put out like different things, like different sounding songs and such like that, but it still always sounds like Vain. It sounds like original Vain. And no matter if some songs, even on this album here, kind of sound like it might be trying to sound like it's from like the 2000s or something like that, but it still is where you want Vain though. They don't do nothing crazy. They don't do nothing sellout wise. You know what some of the people put the terms on for bands that end up going and sounding different. But no, and that's one of the great things about Vain, that I think why you have your diehards for Vain is because they always sound like Vain, and that's awesome. That's what all of us fans want at the end of the day, is for our bands to sound like our bands. Now I get it. I love when bands grow and kind of venture out a little bit, but it has to be within reason though too. It can't just be out in left field and expect just like that everyone. Usually that doesn't work, but there are some that do work, but that's for another video. Alright, so you go on to track number 2. Don't You Think? Another faster paced song. Davy sounds good. Davy's vocal sounds really good all throughout the album. He still sounds like Davy, and that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
I just dig like when Davy sings in the song. He goes like, "You're on a high wire." You know, it just it works. It sounds like classic Vain, and most of these songs obviously do, like I said previously. But next track number 3. You better keep your eye on that girl. Another good to the point type song. And then, but I gotta say, the next track, The Flowers. Even the very first time I listened to this album, I probably listened to it like probably 15 times now or so, give or take. And ever since the first time and up until this most recent time today that I listened to this album, this song, whenever it comes on, I'm like, oh, okay, you got my full attention here. Just a great like little riff, great little groove to it. It feels like a little funky at some traces of it there, but I just really like dig the beat to that song. Really, really good stuff. All right, track number 5. Now you got "Holding On for Love," another Vainy sound song, faster pace. Well, because like I said with The Flowers, it's more of a mid-tempo song, so like you're really getting in the pocket in the groove there. Then you're back on it here with Holding On for Love, another classic style Vain sounding song, fast-paced style song. And then now next track, Can't You See Me Floating, is kind of interesting because this one here sounds like Vain still, but it sounds like it would be from like the 2000s version of Vain, like a more modern style sounding version of Vain. But still, it works though. The chorus is catchy, pretty melodic, but pretty good in its own right as well. Not the strongest track on the album, but it's good. When it's on, I can catch myself kind of like going along with that chorus. All right, now going here to the next track, Back in '89. Another like maybe mid-tempo style track, speed-wise, and the guitar solo is really good. The guitar solos are good throughout this album, like nothing super crazy, but nothing. There's always a good one though waiting for you here in the middle of these songs, and you know back in '89 is no exception here. All right, so now moving on to KC Swinger, another decent guitar track here with decent licks throughout. Here in the song though, you get Davy getting a real melodic style delivery vocal going, and I dig that. It's really good. Kind of has like a chanting type when you're singing the title of the song in the chorus. You know, you kind of get a little bit of a chant going, but really good. No, catchy nonetheless. All right, so now moving on to the second to last track, number 9, Pictures of You in Red. This one I would probably say would be the weakest one for me on here, weakest track. I just kind of don't really care for the chorus too much. Not very memorable throughout the song, and it's just one that it probably won't make the iPod. But I mean, it still has the Vain sound, so it's nothing like totally different, I would say. But it's just one that just can't really get into. All right, now moving on to the final track, Disintegrate Together, the title track. So this probably along with the Flowers track and then now the title track, on the first time I listened to this album, I would say those two tracks really stood out for me. This is a slow tempo track. I really love how Davy delivers when he's singing Disintegrate Together. He only says it like a couple times in the song, but each time he says it, it grabs my attention and it's like you feel it. Very emotional. And I absolutely love this title track. And one of my favorites off of this album. So I would say, now I will say for this album, I like it. But I will say I do enjoy some of the other modern Vain releases more. So it's not my favorite release from the modern Vain, but it is good nonetheless. Like I said, there's only like probably one or two tracks that won't make the iPod. But other than that, you're still getting Vain. You're still getting there. I can't complain. I mean, I'm just like splitting hairs here to find things that that I could probably see as negatives for a normal fan or whatever. But like to me, I'm happy with it. Like we waited 7 years or so for this new release. Is it my favorite of the newest releases? No, probably not. But I can also see like me sitting with this for a couple more months, putting it back on, and being like, oh no, I really actually dig this song a lot more than I thought. I can see this one growing on me more because like obviously like albums like No Respect, All Those Strangers, like right from the first time you play it, you love everything, like right from the first spin. But like this one, it did take me a couple spins to really start finding, other than the Flowers and Disintegrate Together, like really like what I was starting to like on this album. But nonetheless, Davy and Company, great release, great. I'm just glad that they're still releasing new music, and rightfully so, because they are an awesome band, always were, and still are. So right now, as of now, I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5 because I think there is room, like for me, in my opinions of this album and of the songs, to grow on me. And like I said, I just had it now for probably about 3 weeks, give or take, listening to it about 15 times, and I think it certainly can grow on me, even more, better than a 3.5 out of 5. But as of right now, that's what we're sticking to. And please check out the songs Cold Like Snow, The Flowers, and Disintegrate Together. Probably the three of my favorite tracks on here, ones that I visit all the time and never get skipped. But yeah, nonetheless, but I will share the inside here because like I think they did have vinyl for this album, but the last I heard, it is sold out, which I don't know if they're planning on getting any more or what the deal is. But as far as I've seen recently, they still have CD copies of it, and thankfully, because like I said, they don't have, from what I've seen, they don't have any digital release yet. So, which is kind of strange in of itself, but hopefully we can find an answer, or maybe a release of that. But let me know, guys, in the comments what you think of Vain in general, and also if you heard or had this album. I am quite interested to see what the rest of you think of this album compared to like the other modern stuff of Vain, and then also the classic stuff. How do you think it holds up to the classic era, classic run of Vain? But no, nonetheless, but thank you guys for watching the Krash Kourse Metal Show. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please click this one right here.